Kind of break down your philosophy on the payback as the money started to come in.
Yeah, so that's great. So probably about 2019, the end of 2019 is when we got serious about the debt-free journey. And what we would do is we would always move, how we do our things in our house is we
Zero-based budgeting.
zero-based budgeting, we pay our tithes, we pay ourselves, and we pay our taxes.
All right,
And so
stop. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Got to unpack that. No, 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 no. We're not gonna slide. We're not gonna slide. So you said that zero-based budget. That means every dollar has an assignment, and
Yep.
then you return your tithe back to God. And you said pay yourself first. What
Yep.
does that look like?
So it looks like taking a percentage of what we earned and putting it in account. And so something that was helpful for us is we created at a different bank.
Yeah.
We had different accounts. We Are Debt Free was the title of one. Our children was the title of. So this is how we started to move money, and we did not pay large chunks. Or excuse me, we did pay large chunks because, mind you, we started in 2019. Then 2020 happened. So we said, let's keep saving the money in case we might need it.
Yeah.
And so when we were like, wow, well, God is still blessing our business. He is still providing. So if we would say, okay, there's $11,000 in that account.
Yeah.
Let's pay off this debt. And then we would keep moving money every week because I do the budget on a weekly basis. Every money. Then I'm like, well, I'd be like, Carrington, there's $20,000 in there. He'd be like, let's pay off my student loan. And so I think it was 2020 when we got out of debt. Was
August 2021. I saw the
Oh,
video.
We paid
yes.
off, that was
So August 2020. So we were very conservative with how we were making payments because of the uncertainty of the world.
And shouts out to Corona, right? Because as a result of Corona and then not having to make payments on the student loans and everything, that set us up to save those large chunks of money to be able to knock out our student loans.
Nice.
Yes.
So y'all took advantage of the national forbearance that's still going on today. I hope y'all out there listening and watching are doing the same, because look what happened. They accelerated their process because they took advantage of it. Government don't give out handouts too often. This is one that you should definitely take advantage of. I loved y'all story so far, man, because y'all are doing it y'all way. We always say here that personal finance is personal before it's financial. That's why it's personal finance. So you all set out to increase income, and your first foray into that was through entrepreneurship. But I also understand that y'all also, during this journey, correct me if I'm wrong, were dabbling in real estate investing, from a traditional investment type of property, but also I believe that you all said that y'all were like renting rooms. So talk to us about all these rent checks coming in.
You're talking about
we currently have one rental property, right? And the mission is, honestly, just throwing this out, the mission is to have that thing paid off by October this year. And the reason why, just quick side note, we don't like owe nobody nothing. All right. So housing, pay, all that, we ain't trying to owe nobody nothing. And so how for our first rental property happened was, it was our initial house. And so as we begin to have kids and raise kids, it's like, well, are we in an environment with a school system and people that are eclectic and progressive and growing and developing, that we would want to have investing in our kids, right? Because all of that plays a role. And so when we had the conversation about it, we both agreed that, hey, we might want to look at transitioning ourselves to a different environment in order to make sure that if our kids were to go to public school, they're homeschooled now, but if our kids were to go to public school, we be in a great school district. Yeah. And so we began, we connected with our realtor and started looking for houses. And it's interesting because where we live now is about an hour 15 from where we initially lived.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you can't just pop up on us. Like, if you pop up on us, you bring a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. So our first property, and this is the thing, when we were advised to sell that house to get that equity check, because it would have been a great check. Yeah. But I said, I think we should rent it out And thank God we did, because now the housing market in Dallas, if we wanted to even invest in something, it's just not the time to do that. So we just took our residence, rented that out, and then we bought a new home. So we own 2 properties, and the home for almost the 8 years that we've been married, we've always had someone living with us, be it a
100%.
parent, be it someone who just needed to get on their feet. And so that's where that rental room income came from.
Super dope. Super dope. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's just get money from all types of directions. So talk about the communication during this whole journey, because I believe it took y'all a little shy of 3 years. Were you motivated the whole time? Were you on fire the whole time? How did you all, if so, how did you keep it up? How are your conversations back and forth? How are you all keeping each other accountable? Talk about that, because it's a lot of couples listening right now.
So we definitely wasn't motivated the whole time, especially me, because here's my thing, Tyler. I like eating.
Yeah.
You feel me? I don't spend a lot of money on clothes and stuff, but I like food. And so to hear that I got a food budget and we don't even need to be eating out and we need to buy groceries, and you know what? Let's just take these cards we got and put them over here so we can't even use them. Like, I'm distraught by that. But the beautiful thing is we were consistent with reminding ourselves of the vision. And that's the thing that kept us going. I always remind my clients, like, you have to have clarity about the vision, because the vision influences decisions.
Yeah.
And so whenever we had those moments of, man, let's just go do this, let's just go spend this money, like, it's okay if we push everything back 3 to 6 months, then it's a matter of, well, wait a minute. If we continue to be disciplined a year from now, a year and a half from now, all of this will be paid off, and then we can do that for longer. We can experience this at a higher level. We can travel more. You can eat whatever you want to eat, whatever you want to eat. So
Yeah.
we were very intentional about discussing the vision, so that even when those low moments or those moments of not even wanting to do it came up, hey, when I look at this vision, I'm willing to say no to myself now so that I can say yes to myself in abundance then.
Yeah. And it wasn't like we didn't have a life or we rode our bikes to work or
Yeah.
we didn't do anything.
Well,
Like,
you did ride your bike to work.
I did ride my bike sometimes, but essentially we just enjoyed the process.
Yeah.
Like, we still went out to eat occasionally. Instead of going on trips to Jamaica, we went to trips to grandma's house. Like, we still had things that we enjoy. And even now that we are debt free, like, our date nights, the past 2 date nights, we've gone on hikes.
We went
Like,
on
we've gone
walks,
on
yeah.
walks. So it's just finding ways to entertain and enjoy yourself without feeling like you have to consume.
That's good.
So take us to that moment. A lot of people are curious. They're either thinking about going on a debt-free journey or they're in the middle of it. They're wondering what it's like to send in that final payment and have that feeling knowing that you're debt-free. So set the scene, paint the picture, talk to us about the day that you made your very last debt payment.
So I feel like we had just got off the phone with our accountant.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about tax stuff. And we found out, what our tax payment would be. And then we looked.
We had budgeted more for taxes than we needed.
Yeah. And so we looking and we like, well, wait a minute. You got one more student loan. What does that look like? And we looking at the student loan and we looking at the available money. We like, like, we can really be debt free. Should we do it?
Should we? Yeah.
Like, should we actually do this? Because prior to this, I think maybe a week, 2 weeks before this, we had a conversation with a financial advisor. He was like, man, if I was you, I would take that money and invest it in this, invest it in that. What is it? Opportunity costs. He was talking about opportunity costs, and you could take that money and invest it in this, and then a year and a half from now, you'll have more to pay that off and all of that. And so we heard him, and we had that conversation. Immediately after that conversation, we went on a walk, and we like, what are your thoughts about what he said? Well, what are your thoughts about what he said? And we're just conversing. And so we were sitting down looking at what we had available financially and what we owe from a debt perspective. And then we went back to that vision piece of, hey, what is our vision? We hear what everybody else saying, but what is the best decision for us based on our goal and our vision? And it was to pay that off.
Yeah.
So baby made that call.
Yeah. And it felt incredibly, it was
like surreal.
It was surreal, and it really did feel amazing. And to Carrington's point, when we finally made that decision, I had to remind us, like, this is not the end of our money. Like, it feels like, oh, this is it and we're all done. No, like, God is going to continue to provide. We're continue to work our businesses. But it felt amazing.
Now this wasn't no little check. This wasn't, you didn't send no 500. It's like $40,000.
Uh,
What was the last thing?
40.
It was yours.
No, yours was last.
Oh,
So we
mine
paid
was
both of mine. I
last.
think it was like 43.
It was like
It was like
43,000. It was
$43,000.
$43,000.
That ain't, I mean, that's a heck of a conversation.
Yes.
Look, because there's a lot you can do with 43,000.
It sure is. It sure is. I'm calling my dad. He's Nigerian, and he's like, I don't know. Everybody's like, I don't know about that, but we pulled the trigger, and it feels amazing.
And that's why it's so valuable, especially in marriage, to have your vision.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I'm an advocate of being trailblazers, right? Carving out new paths. So one of the challenges of being trailblazers is that you're rarely exposed and connected with people that are on the journey that you're on, right? So we even have some successful friends that ain't even pursuing debt freedom like we are. So it's like we can't even a lot of times have conversations with them just because the desire and the mission is different.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's so valuable to be in alignment with that vision is so that even if we do open the door of conversation to other people, we can hear their perspective, but we can always come together and say, okay, what is our desire and our vision? But yeah, vision is valuable, man.
Man, listen, I be trying to just let y'all talk, but listen, I need everybody to listen because the philosophy is that freedom is a hindrance to wealth building. Y'all got to stop thinking that. Every dollar of debt that you pay off automatically and instantaneously increases your net worth. You can't say that about a business endeavor because of the risk involved. You can't say that about a stock market investment because of the risk involved. You can't say that about a real estate investment because of the risk involved. So the popular noise out there is that debt freedom is going to prevent you from building wealth at a good pace. It is a false narrative. Becoming completely debt free accelerated us to pass the 7-figure net worth mark a few years back. It's not because of anything else. It's because of the discipline that we built to avoid debt, to get rid of the debt that we had, and it positively affected everything else. We did invest, of course we invested, but it started, the foundation was the discipline and the mentality paradigm shift necessary to have a foundation of debt freedom. Don't let nobody fool you. Debt freedom is the right choice. So I'm curious for you, Carrington and Ashley. Y'all had to have a lot of conversations and had to come back together and say, what's our vision? And ultimately, you made the decision that was in alignment with your specific vision. What has changed in your life post that last payment? What has debt freedom allowed you all to do that maybe you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise?